Hey guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to another episode of Market Mastery. You're with your host, Trader Dax. We're going to be taking you through updates on the crypto market today, mainly on BTC and a whole heap of altcoins because there is setups absolutely everywhere. So we're going to get stuck into that in a second. If you do like my content, please leave a comment below. Tell us how much you're enjoying the content and how much it's helping you, if it is or not. Or if we just suck, let us know as well. And make sure you subscribe. We just hit new all-time high subscribers yesterday. So yeah, congratulations for that to us. But yeah, please like and subscribe, and let's get into the content. So heaps happening right now with this big sell-off. A lot of speculation that it's been powered by GBTC because they're dumping so much Bitcoin. And I also think that the market just needed a reset as well. So we have gotten pretty close here to being oversold on the daily, which, to be honest, when a Bitcoin uptrend is pretty rare to happen. We got very deep here after this huge, big capitulation sell-off earlier in the year when we dumped from pretty much 30K all the way down to 25. And then we had a really nice bullish divergence that's ground us out of that. So that's pretty standard bottoming pattern. You might get that once a year on BTC, sometimes twice a year. You typically, what happens is the market will get oversold, come down, and put in the pivot before it hits the oversold area, unless you get a big sell-off capitulation like this, like we just tagged it down here. I mean, even look at the cycle low. I keep on saying all-time low, but it's actually the cycle low. The all-time low for this cycle, right? Only just tagged being oversold on the daily, right? In the basically accumulation range down here, still stayed pretty high above the oversold area of the RSI. So it does take a lot of work to get Bitcoin into the oversold on the daily. Now the question is, are we going to have a capitulation here and tag the oversold area? Look, with the type of price action we're putting in right now, it looks like we're trying to put in a bottom on BTC, to be honest. And, I've seen this happen a million times. Tried to put in a bottom on this candle here, but unfortunately, I took a long there and got wrecked. I mean, I'm never gonna get upset taking a candle like this. This is, my standard entry candle for a potential Morningstar reversal off range low after a significant SFP of this level here, right? You just got to sometimes cop it when those types of things happen. Not every setup is going to work 100% of the time. And, part of doing business as a trader is you're getting stopped out, right? But this candle here, couldn't help myself when I saw this forming into the daily close. And there's so many other setups around, with big SFPs all across the board on alts, which we're going to have a look into that. On the 4 hour time frame, we have hit fairly oversold. Really nice bullish divergence here in the oversold area down to 38.5. And we're getting a pretty nice bounce out of here reaction since pretty much the New York Open. So basically, New York opened last night and the market's pretty much been up only. And yeah, really nice bull div here. The other thing as well is we are getting stochastics crossover. So that's coming out of deep oversold and starting to push back up. So we should get a 4 hour swing high here. I would like to see that it be a full swing high and, we push at least all the way back up to 42,000 before we have a swing low. So I could see something like this happen. We have a full swing high and something like this, a little bit of a pullback, and then, inverse head and shoulders or something like that would be pretty nice. Doesn't have to be like a perfect, but, just some sort of a pullback or flag out here for a little bit and then crossover for, a push back into the range. Now, do we make it all the way back up to to 40, 45, 500, or does it get rejected at these highs up here? That is probably the question to ask next. If it can finish reclaiming this range low, we're not 100% back into here, but these are the levels I think we need to watch for. Reclaim at that level, and I would expect a rotation back to the range high. And it's the same as this up here, this is basically a deviation above range high. We come back inside that, and then you expect price to rotate all the way down to range lows. Deviation below range low, you reclaim the range low, you expect it to rotate up to at least a significant high. So 44 would probably be the main area that I'm going to watch for, and then see if we reject from there, and then if price rolls over, then we can look for these lower levels like 35K or even potentially 31K, which are some pretty significant areas. I did remember, I think on one of my other charts, we're looking for a 38K level, but basically, we didn't quite come. I think it basically just got front run. So this level back here, pretty much 200. I mean, if you look at the wicks, comes pretty close to tagging the wicks at the top of this price action, at the top of the ascending triangle that we had earlier in the year. Um, and sometimes it just happens. So if we just zoom in a little bit here, I'll show you on the lower time frames. Basically, this candle here was the perfect entry. If you're awake during the New York Open, that would have been the candle to long for sure. But unfortunately, you would have already been up 4.5 hours on that. That would have been the perfect candle to get long on. Nice bullish divergence here on the low time frame on the 1 hour, and nice little SFP just there. But unfortunately, I was asleep. And then, yeah, of course, the other thing to watch for here that I've been teaching the guys in our course is this 3 candlestick pattern here, which is down candle, doji candle in the middle, if SFP is even better, and then a strong up candle, which closes above the candle 1. So that's what we call an engulfing Morningstar reversal. And a lot of the times when you get price action like that with an engulfing Morningstar or engulfing shooting star, which is the bearish version of it, it does set a new trend. So it's one of the biggest inclinations that there is a reversal in trend coming. And then you can see here that what happened is price came back and basically support resistance flipped that. So if you're like a lower time frame kind of guy, and you love all the ICT stuff, we've been teaching everybody smart money concepts in our course recently, Market Mastery 3. My trading partner Robs, or AKA Chris, he's been teaching everybody this setup, which is basically the breaker block. So you have the market structure shift through here, your liquidity grab or the raid, whatever you want to call it. I just call this a swing failure pattern because, let's be honest, that's what it really is. And then you break above that, and then it comes back and retests this level here, which is basically just the previous high pre-breakout. So last high pre-breakout, come back and retest that, then the market moves up from that. So that's basically one of the ITC entry models that all those guys like to use. Trader Dante used to teach a very similar entry model as well, which is just breakout, pullback, continuation, or a retest of the last high pre-break. So what we're looking for now is price to get back above this 40K level, which is pretty much the range low. So we don't want to get too excited before it reclaims that range low level. That we're definitely going to get a range low reclaim, because of course it can always just reject from here, and we end up getting stopped out, like I did get stopped out here. But this looks pretty nice at the moment. What I want to see is the blue candle here close. Look, let's pretty much say above 40,600. So for the Morningstar to be confirmed, we want to see it close back above 50% of the dump candle, which comes down to pretty much 40,500. So if the daily can close above 40,500, we're looking pretty good, right? So altcoins, there's heaps of altcoin setups around at the moment. Nice swing failure patterns here. So Arbitrum, for example, after a pretty big sell-off, let's just get our TD sequential up. So on ARB, would you just have a TD9? And then we SFP the TD9. So let's see if we can get a Morningstar reversal here on ARB. Back above $1.82 would be very strong. Be pretty happy with that price action for today. And that would give me a pretty strong sense that ARB is probably going to have some sort of continuation here. Let's just see here on our Fibonacci, and perfect entry off the 0.618. So there's a lot of arguments here to tell us that potentially ARB is getting ready to have a push back up to the top of the range where it started selling off from. And obviously this is going to depend a lot on BTC and its Morningstar reversal playing out on the daily time frame and getting a close above 40,600. That would definitely open up a lot of altcoins to run. ARB is definitely one of those. Casper is another one. Like, look at this entry down here. Same thing. We just got a 9 set up here. So, and also bouncing off the previous 9 back here. And yeah, pretty nice. I'm just going to take this off for a second. And yeah, really nice SFP through here. Going a little bit deeper than the 0.618. But really nice swing failure pattern. Like, anybody that had positions basically leaving their stop loss underneath all of these wicks here probably just got taken out by that one there, right? And that's why you can see it starting to push up now, because people are coming. Anyone that got stopped out through here, they see this sort of price action on the daily close after getting stopped out, they're probably buying back in. Plus, whales know that if they push the market up now after forcing it down, people are going to panic buy and get the rotation. And so basically the target, so this is the setup here. Right, so if we got in anywhere near the close, or even like a little bit late, right, I think most likely it's going to make it up to retest these levels at 0.122. That's a nice 3.37 R. Who knows? Maybe it makes it all the way back up to 1.45. Well, I should say 0.145. But that's a little bit of a stretch. I think the easy target, definitely low hanging fruit, is 0.123. I mean, there's so many of these around at the moment. Let's have a quick look. Atlas just been absolutely annihilated. C is showing a lot of strength, so a little bit stronger on the close than some of the other coins for sure. Nice SFP there. When you don't get the doji candle in, I'm just not sure if this is already pushed too much. And it didn't close as engulfing either, but potentially this is setting up a range low, and it's going to do something like this and range out for a little while. Okay, Pyth, really nice SFP. Sorry, I should say support resistance flip here of the inverse head and shoulders setup that we sort of had coming out of the falling wedge. So it's looking pretty good as well for a bounce here, but obviously needs Bitcoin to continue to push the upside. Maverick, not really the greatest daily, but it's still holding the top of this channel here, which something's building on Maverick. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, but this just looks like a Livermore accumulation cylinder. And when this played out on Ethereum, it just went absolutely nuts. And basically, it's an indication when you get this chop up like this, which is sort of like a broadening chop, right, where it's getting wider as it's going higher, and then it broke out, come back inside now, but potentially could continue this same pattern where it continues to push up high and pull back, basically telling us that there's willing buyers at a higher level every single time that it pushes. So interesting to see what's happening over there. Stacks, this is one that is a Bitcoin DeFi protocol. Pretty interesting price action here, depending on where you want to fib it from, has come back to 0.618 and tagged that level. Also pretty nice order block through here as well, right? So that's a nice, reversal setup for sure that, the stacks whales or, traders could try and build a base around this candle for a potential bottom for sure. Sovereign has been looking really good. If you watch my video update the other day on the Nuggets News channel, price was back here and it's bounced really aggressively out of there. Basically come back and tagged our 0.618 to 0.66, basically our golden zone, and we've got a really nice bounce out of there. And this was like the perfect setup. So what I'm seeing on a lot of different charts at the moment is this starting to form, and we're currently in the daily candle just here, right? So if we get the Morningstar reversal on a lot of those, definitely a few of them could end up rotating back into an uptrend again. So this is really nice to see the double bottom form after it did have a nice run, pull back, double bottom, and now we've, support resistance flipped the high there of, so this is a confirmed double bottom now off the 0.618. So it's looking pretty good. Really strong daily, at one point it was up 20%, which is nuts considering the entire market was freaking selling off pretty aggressively yesterday for most of it until the New York session. So there's something going on at Sovereign for sure. And that's pretty encouraging signs, to be honest. It's another Bitcoin DeFi, which I think is going to be a huge narrative this year and next year, which, in my opinion, actually gives a lot of credence to the potential that Bitcoin is going to outperform this cycle in terms of percentage growth compared to last cycle, because we have things like the ETF coming in, which is going to be added demand. But now also we might get a whole new wave of extra added demand from having the excuse me, having the Bitcoin DeFi up and running. Because if you think about it, Bitcoin in the last cycle, it didn't really have any catalysts to really pump the price hard. In 2017, you had the hard forks going on and Bitcoin Cash and all that sort of stuff, and people got heaps of free money. Some people got like hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars just from holding their Bitcoin and getting the airdrop for Bitcoin Cash and all the other Bitcoins that came out. That was the thing in 2017. In the last cycle, in the 2020, 21, 21 cycle, we didn't really have any catalysts, but Ethereum and the rest of the marketplace, they all had these crazy catalysts, with DeFi happening and all this sort of stuff that sucked a lot of cash flow away from BTC. And I think actually stifled its growth a little bit. Plus, on top of that, you had Sam Bankman-Fried and the rest of the FTX flogs basically stealing everybody's Bitcoin and selling it on market while people thought they were holding, right? So potentially Bitcoin is going to outperform this cycle compared to what it did last cycle. And I think the Bitcoin DeFi whole, narrative and, people building on Bitcoin, DApps and everything like that, and ordinals and things like that could end up this cycle adding a whole new level of excitement to BTC that we haven't seen in, pushing 7 years plus. Okay, so Algo, pretty nice one as well. Basically came back and tagged this order block here, right? Definitely has a potential for a base, but when you do a gray close or red close like this, I like to see if it can, and also because we're still below these wicks as well. If it can reclaim that wick, then yeah, that's sort of like a range low reclaim for me, and I'd be a lot more interested. So I need to see this candle do something like this, basically. Okay, and get a nice reclaim of the range low, and then that would make me a lot more interested in getting involved. Okay, SKL, nothing to report that much about here, but we did get a little SFP. Seems to be the theme at the moment, swing failure patterns, but I want to see the stronger reactions, the stronger candles. Atom was one of the other ones. Possibly we already covered that off. I'm not sure, but this was like a really nice one. So really clean level that's been swept here. Okay, there's no other really like swing points in this area. Obviously, we were below it for a little bit and then pushed quite far back above it. So that means there's a lot of people panic selling that are trapped within here now. So if we get the Morningstar reversal set up here, that's going to, potentially build out a new base. And then we get the downtrend through here, breaks, and then we're pushing back up to range highs again. Obviously, this is going to need Bitcoin to have a rotation all the way up to 44K for these sort of things to play out. But it is really good signs early. We don't want to get too excited because things obviously can always roll over again. But at the moment, pretty good signs early. So INJ, definitely looking a little bit weak. I probably wouldn't grab this one until it can reclaim the daily closes here back above 34.30. Aave, really nice sweep of range lows, but closed red again. Probably wait for the Morningstar reversal to play out before I wanted to jump back into that one. Link, bit of a disappointing close as well, to be honest. Where is Solana? Solana had a really nice close. This is one that I actually did long. It is still below these lows here, which is a little bit concerning, but I'm sort of banking on BTC carrying us through and reclaiming this 40,000 level and hopefully reclaiming 40,600 as well. And then that will drag Solana up and then have a crack at breaking out of this downtrend again. Okay, so realistically, probably should redraw the downtrend line to include this through here, but I've just seen bottoms play out so much like this. Wasn't a decent amount of volume, more than what we've seen since the 11th of Jan, but not like anything too crazy, too excited about. That's enough of a volume increase for me to see that there was some significant trading done in this low here. I was looking for 74 to get tagged, but potentially it's just going to get front run. And what I want, so now it all depends on, can we push up and close above $91, or the mid range, which is about 87. Right. So that's what I want to see now overnight on the daily. And a lot of that, to be honest, is going to come down to and depend on what happens with the Bitcoin ETF. So this is just basically a really good chart that's been set up by CC15 Capital. Him and Eric Belchans, I think that's how you say his name, who's one of the Bloomberg analysts, have been reporting a lot about the ETF flows. And I think, they're two good people to follow, get some good data from them. But basically, without GBT sell-offs, the rest of the ETFs have actually consumed 108,000 BTC over the last couple of weeks, over the last 1 week, which is pretty impressive. Like, that's a fair amount of inflows. Total outflows of GBTC has been 82,639. So we don't know how much of the capital that was, being sold in GBTC, because they do have the 1.5% fee. How much of that is rotated out of GBTC into, say, iBit or Fidelity or, Bitwise or ARK, for example, because they have much lower fees. And I think people are looking to take advantage of that. So there's going to be a chunk of this 82,000 BTC that's rotated into the rest of the 108. But out of the total, even with the deduction of 82,000 that GBTC has been dumping on the market, and remember, they have to sell that 82,000 back to US dollars, and then people redeem in the US dollars, and then they can take the money out and then go and buy one of the other ETFs. And potentially these other ETFs have already actually bought the BTC. And so we're selling fresh BTC onto the market and being replaced with BTC that's already been bought. So that sell pressure, it's very hard to calculate exactly. And I'm not 100% sure exactly the inner workings of how all these ETFs are working. And if somebody does know the exact processes of how this works, as if somebody buys the shares, if they go and buy them that night, or goes and buys the BTC that night after the close of the bell, or if it's an instant transaction that the BTC gets bought straight away. I don't think it works like that. I think it gets bought over the next couple of days but I think they do hedge the exposure during the day. So it is a fairly complicated process, I'm pretty sure, to keep the ETF as close to the price of Bitcoin as possible while people are buying and selling. But that is something I need to do a fair bit more research on. I'm just not sure even that information is available at the moment, but hopefully it becomes a lot more prevalent over the next few months so we can get better insights into it. But just wanted to show that and show how much Bitcoin is actually being dumped on the market at the moment by Grayscale. Okay. So this is the guy here, Capital 15C. And that's the report there. And then the other thing that I just wanted to show you guys was our agar template. I think I've lost it here. This is the one I was looking for. So I wanted to show you guys that there's actually been, since the New York market opened last night, there's been a really strong buy in the spot market. So that's something to take note of, definitely. And really interesting that a lot of the buying flip actually came with Binance turning on the buyers. Okay, so going to be really interesting to see now, because Binance has typically been selling very aggressively. It's going to be interesting to see them actually flip and go across into I'll get the chart up now so you guys can see, and go across into being mainly a buyer, because typically Binance has been selling very aggressively. Since we sort of topped out with the ETFs getting announced, you can see that Binance was buying very, very aggressively moving into the ETFs. And then Since then, it's been was flat for a little bit, but, been selling off pretty aggressively over the last sort of section of the market when we did have this big sell off. But then overnight, as soon as New York opened, something happened, and the Binance buyers really woke up and flipped direction, and you can see that they've basically been carrying the market up since. So OKX has been down and pretty flat. Bybit has just been selling absolutely everything for a long time now. I kind of feel like the Bybit traders are the worst in the market. They just seem to suck. I don't know. They're always offside. Um, Coinbase has been bidding pretty strongly, but the last sort of week or so has been a bit flat. And I think a lot of that definitely has been coming from the excessive selling of GBTC, because they've been selling on Coinbase for sure. But the very interesting thing to take note of here, guys, is since we were sort of in the middle of the range, about 43K and down, Bitfinex has been bidding like absolutely fucking crazy. Like, look at this. Look at their CBD. It's just pretty much just been constant, straight up buying pressure while everybody else has been selling into the bids there. Bitstamp also just had a strong reversal here with Binance. But realistically, I think the most notable thing out of looking at all the exchanges, it's the Bitfinex buyers. And if anyone's been around in the market for long enough, they know that the Bitfinex traders are usually right, and the rest of the market is usually wrong. And also, one thing you'll probably know when you start analyzing what the different traders on different markets are doing, you'll start to realize that the Bybit traders are usually mostly offside as well. So let's see how this ends up playing out and resolving, but I'm not a big fan of betting against Bitfinex. So I gave you guys a couple of really nice setups. There's definitely a few getting around, but we do still need to see follow through and strong closes on the daily. We can't just be selling off all day and have a weak close. We do want to get a close above 50% of the down candle to confirm those Morningstar reversals. So thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. If you want to learn more about our analysis and do our trading course, there's a link below to join Market Mastery. We're still live at the moment. We're just in the middle of week 6 out of 9 weeks of our course. There's 2 sessions per week, one from myself and then one from my trading partner who specializes in low time frame trading and order flow trading. So if you want to learn all that sort of stuff and you want to learn how I analyze the markets, I've been a profitable trader for the last 7, pushing on 8 years now. Sign up and join our course, Market Mastery 3, or just join our free Facebook group if you want to get involved in some of the conversations over there. All right, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you all in the next episode.